And now, some quick thoughts from Man.
Well, it's been a minute, but y'all know how this goes. But if you've been living under a rock, I'll break it down for you. This is the show where I give a quick impression on new shows I either missed or just didn't feel needed a whole video dedicated to it. I even talk about some web series, unless it's too personal and done more as a hobby, mainly because I know these people will probably have enough time to come after me if I diss their work. Well, anyway, let's not waste any more time and get right into it. I don't know what to say about this. This show is dumb. Just plain dumb. But in the same vein as other Adult Swim shows that's not meant to go that far. It's a lot of silliness and non sequiturs. The characters are very unlikable. I mean, you can have jerk characters who are at least right about something, but these guys are plain assholes. You don't really have anyone to root for here because everyone has such a garbage personality. I'll admit the aesthetic of it is pretty nice. I kind of like looking at it, but that's honestly the only good thing going for it. I'm amazed they got Vince Staples and Dram to be part of this, but it's not like they're really giving their all. Then again, it's not like they're allowed to. The characters aren't written that well for them to give a good performance with them. Laser Wolf is gonna be a short-lived series and one that deserved to be put down. This is such a nothing series. Like, I seriously couldn't laugh at anything in it. I was just sitting there waiting for it to just fucking end. The characters feel so hollow. The main character, Alice, is just a by-the-numbers boring stick in the mud who for some reason sounds like Lil from Rugrats, even though she's not voiced by Kat Susie. The unicorn lives up to the title because you do want him to go away. He's so goddamn annoying. There's not even much of a reason for Alice and the unicorn to hang out other than that's what the show needs. It just really has to force its own premise. Animation is fine, nothing eye-rapish or even that good. It just simply works for itself. It's fine. This show is just a massive time waster. You probably could leave it on in the background, but even then, there's much better shows to waste time on. I don't even know what the hell to call this show. This is just plain weird. I mean, it's to be expected from Tyler, the creator. This is the guy who gave us Loiter Squad. Granted, this show is a bit more focused. Sometimes. It's just so crazy and weird, so I get why Adult Swim took it in. Hell, the second episode had the main character get a sex change operation so he could go to a school dance for his buddy who was feeling lonely, and then somehow he got pregnant even though they didn't put a womb in him and he had a baby. It's so freaking weird. The main character himself is straight up one of the oddest characters I've seen in a while. Like, he genuinely threw me for a loop. It's kind of funny because Tyler was at Comic-Con one year to promote this show and gave that speech about why his character is black and why he's not a stereotype, which was very commendable, especially since he did stick to his guns with the character of Cornell. The animation is kind of nice and has a bit of a smoothness to it. Character designs are a little they fit the mold of other small-time Adult Swim shows, but they're not really amazing either. If you really like Adult Swim's weirdness type of shows, then this show would be right up your alley. This is kind of a neat little series from Hasbro. Definitely a very colorful series with how it executes its aesthetic. It's a very pleasing to the eye type of show. The colors mash together to create this cosmic space that's just rich in vibrancy. Hanazuki herself has a nice personality, but I'll admit it'll take me getting some used to her since she has the voice of my least favorite Loud House sister, Lynn. But that's just a bias on my end. The story seems interesting enough with this looming dark element that consumes worlds. The show itself is so odd and kind of strange with how they have the setup for everything. The characters and all that are just so weird, but they somehow mesh together well with this. It kind of works in some way. It offers itself as a pretty good series to keep up with, so I'm probably gonna keep it in my lineup of shows to watch. Though it does suck that Hasbro removed the show from YouTube for some weird-ass reason. I just don't get that. It's like, come on, you have this show, and apparently I think people like it. It has a good fan base, so it's like, why take it off? What the hell? That's just odd. Just very, very odd, Hasbro. This show is meant for dog lovers. It's nothing absolutely great, but it's pleasant. The animation is definitely the greatest aspect of the show. It's sort of a sketchy style that creates this eye candy of an aesthetic. The characters are pretty fun, and the show actually knows how to handle multiple characters by not having too many of them get the focus. Instead, it opts for a few main leader older dogs, while the others are more just the younger siblings. It's fairly fast-paced with its humor. You might get some good chuckles from it. If you're a fan of the original movie or even the old TV series that Disney had, then this might be right up your alley. Just a nice little cozy show from Disney. This show is pretty silly. Out of all the Scooby-Doo iterations, this is kind of a chill, nice one, but it can be a little like, what the hell? I do like that it pays homage to the old Scooby-Doo movies from back in the day. It kind of has some of the corniness from the old series, as with some of the humor sprinkled with a bit of modern Scooby-Doo writing. The pacing of the episodes can be pretty inconsistent. The great thing about the old series and even some modern outings was that they had musical montages of the gang being chased. Here, they don't have much of any musical montages, or for some iterations, they had really good jokes to help keep the flow of things. The jokes here are fine for the most part, but they're still kind of lackluster. They're not really that funny. You're just gonna kind of have a lot of stone-facedness as you watch. It's kind of a hiccup on this show's part. The characters are just fine. They're pretty fine. Though I will admit I'm gonna miss Be Cool Scooby-Doo's rendition of Daphne. She had more going for her because she was so random and funny. Here, she's just kind of the same old Daphne, doesn't do much, and is mostly there to look pretty. Oh well. There's a sort of weird thing with Scooby speaking perfect English now. He doesn't have that impediment where all his words start with an R. It's just a bit off-putting. The guest characters do just fine. It really doesn't have much going for it other than the guest characters. It's just an all-around fine series. If you like Scooby-Doo, you can like this just fine. It's nothing great, but nothing terrible neither. The best way to describe this is wacky, but very cute. It prides itself on fluid character animations, especially in facial expressions. Hell, it has a whole episode dedicated to just facial expressions. Ollie and Scoop's dynamic manages to work pretty well off of each other, and even having a bit of the Calvin Hobbes feel to it, with Ollie being the only one who can actually hear Scoops. The general comedy of it is just downright wackiness. It's a show that is unapologetic about its humor. It's pretty expected since it's from the same guy who made the Too Loud web series. Not really much else I could say. It's a fun little show with some cute characters and some kind of pleasant humor. I honestly say give it a watch. Canada, I don't know why you chose to take Ben 10 and Pokemon and decided to make Chin Pokemon. You know, that silly little parody South Park did when they were making fun of Pokemon? Seriously, that's what this show is. The creatures they come up with look so bootleg since they're made from some bootleg ideas. For fuck's sake, they even have a character that's made from a shoe! Like, hey, let's combine a hammer and a boar, and it ends up looking like a sin against nature. I guess they thought this could become a franchise like Ben 10 or Pokemon, but with those freaks of nature as mascots, I don't think so. This show is just pretty dumb and even gruesome sometimes. They have a squirrel character that gets killed in the most brutal ways. Like, they'll have him get chopped in half and you see the blood, or he'll get burnt to a crisp and they let it be known he is very much dead. It's a bit what the fuckish for a kid series. The characters themselves are just stereotypes of what adults think a kid is. There's nothing really special or even funny about them. The animation is that typical crap animation Canada is known for. I always find it weird when Canada takes in an American production and they just do the animation and it can turn out good, but when they do their own productions, it comes out pretty crappy. I really don't get it. But regardless, this show is a definite skip. That's the end. Thank you for watching. Leave a like and make sweet love to that subscribe button. Also, donate to my Patreon where you can request me to review any animated anything. And always remember, it's just a thought.